Good morning, student. Today's our lecture is on force. What is force? Force is an like here we have an object, here object, and lying on a ground or a table, anywhere you suppose, and you are giving a force, that is a push to this object, and the same object is lying on the ground or a table, and you pull this object. So here you are pushing the object, here you are pulling the object. So the object is moving, and the definition is the external energy required to move the object, that is this push and pull. So somewhere you try to push the things, and somewhere you try to pull the things. In both the cases you are providing an external force to move that object from their position. So this external force, the external energy required to move the object from one place to another is a force. So you are trying to push the object and pull the object according to your requirement, according to your need. So this is a force. So this all will happen because of only and only force, this push and this pull. So the another thing is the type, the we will discuss the two type of quantities. There are two type of quantities called, one is vector quantity and other is scalar quantity. So now I am talking about only about force, not other thing. So as we know that, and I want to tell you, the force is a vector quantity, and vector quantities are those quantity having two things. One is magnitude and one other is direction. When a thing is having a direction as well as magnitude, then we call it as a vector quantity, and force is its example. In a scalar quantity, mass, weight, it has a magnitude only and not a direction, so it is a scalar quantity. So vector quantity is having a magnitude as well as direction. So the unit of force is very important, that is, this is Newton. Newton is a force of unit, and kilonewton is a bigger unit of this Newton. Kilo means thousand newtons is a kilonewtons. You can write it as kilo, kn, kilonewton, and Newton is a unit of force. So next thing is a type of forces. The type of forces, three way to represent force is a horizontal force, vertical force, and inclined force. In a horizontal force, the forces is in x direction. We generally suppose this direction is as x axis. This we consider, we suppose this axis to be as a x axis, and this is as a y axis. The vertical we called it as y axis, and horizontal axis we call it as x axis. So the forces in x direction or along x direction, we call it as horizontal forces. When forces are in vertical direction, upward or downward direction, in y direction, we call it as vertical forces. And when we have no direction of force, and then we call it as an inclined forces. It may be at some angle theta, that we will discuss in our next videos, that is the resolve, how to resolve these forces. And we will make two component, one in x direction, other is y direction, to simplify our question and resolve the forces for our ease. So these all things we will discuss in our next lectures. So these are inclined forces. And another thing is nature of forces. And what is the nature of forces? Suppose we have this point, and we are stretching this point. We are giving a force in the outward direction. We call it as outward from the point, that is outward from the point. Matlab, this is a point, and you are pulling the force, you are pulling this point, and this is outward type of force. And in the same way, the same point, and you are pushing this point, and the direction of force is in this direction, that is toward the point. So here you are pulling the pull that point, and here you push that point. So here a nature of force is pulling and pushing. So in pulling, from this concept, the two thing comes in front of us. First is compression forces. Compression forces means to push this point inward, and other force come out as a tensile force. We generally discuss about these forces, compression forces and tension forces. So here a tensile forces is like a pulling forces, like a pulling मतलब खींचना. टेंसाइल फोर्स में हम चीज़ों को खींचते हैं. सपोज ये चीज़ है, आप पर इस पे फोर्स लगा रहे हैं, एंड यू आर पुलिंग दीज थिंग्स, दैट वी कॉल इट एज टेंसाइल फोर्स is a pulling force, and this is a compression force, and this force is a compression force. It's a push force toward inward, and this toward outward. So these are all about the nature of forces, and now we will discuss some more thing about forces, that is the force system. So now what is a force system? The force system is classified into two parts. One is a coplanar forces, and other is a non-coplanar forces. What is coplanar forces? The definition of coplanar forces are the forces lie on the same plane. Means this is a plane that is a 2D plane. This is a 2D plane. You have already taught in the read in the engineering graphics, that is 2D plane, 3D plane. So here you have this 2D plane, and the forces lie on the plane. कि फोर्सेस जो हैं इस पे 2D प्लेन में ही लाई करेंगी इन एनी डायरेक्शन, x डायरेक्शन, y डायरेक्शन, बट नॉट इन z डायरेक्शन. z डायरेक्शन इज when forces comes in a z direction, then it is not in that plane. It comes out the plane, outward or inward the plane. So my mean is to say the plane, the forces is on the sheet of paper like a page. अब पेज है, उस पे forces होंगी, आगे हो सकती हैं, पीछे हो सकती हैं, x y डायरेक्शन में कहीं भी हो सकती हैं, but not in z डायरेक्शन, in a same plane, means same plane. And non-coplanar forces are the forces which are not in the same plane, like on the sheet of paper. It may outward or inward the paper. It can be in x direction, it can be in y direction, in any way. So not in the same plane. That is a non-coplanar forces. And the classification of coplanar forces is collinear forces, concurrent forces, non-concurrent forces, and parallel forces. So we will discuss one by one about all these forces. Now first is collinear forces lie in a straight line. So this is a force. One force is pushing going in this way, and other force is going in this way, and other forces is in this way. Suppose this force is 10 Newton, this is 5 Newton. So here 5 going 5, 10, and here going 5 means 10 going 5 left, means 5 left, 5 बचा, तो यहाँ 5 इस तरफ जा रही है, और ये भी अगर 5 है तो ये भी 5 ऐड हो गया, तो that is 10. Means a force is a vector quantity, and the magnitude in the final resultant direction is add in such a way. Suppose एक force 10 न्यूटन यहाँ जा रहा है और 5 न्यूटन इस तरफ लग रही है, तो रेस्ट नेट फोर्स क्या होगी दिस डायरेक्शन पे, कितना 5 न्यूटन, क्योंकि ये 10 इस तरफ है और 5 इस तरफ अपोजिट साइड पे हैं, और ये क्या होगा माइनस हो जाएगा, बिकॉज फोर्स इज हैज़ अ नेचर ऑफ वेक्टर क्वांटिटी. सो 5 अगर 10 डायरेक्शन इस तरफ है, 5 इस तरफ लग रही है फोर्स, तो नेट फोर्स क्या बचेगी, 5 इज़ इन दिस डायरेक्शन. सो इन द सेम लाइन, that is means my mean is to say collinear forces is in the same line, the line of action is same. ठीक है. Now concurrent forces क्या होती हैं? Concurrent lie in the different, lie in different plane, lie in a different, lie in a, not a lie in a different plane. This is when all the passes through the same point. So the point here you have a point, the concurrent collinear forces वो forces हैं जिसमें क्या है, लाइन इन द स्ट्रेट लाइन, फोर्सेस एक ही लाइन में बता रहे हैं, एक ही लाइन पे. और कॉन्करेंट फोर्सेस में क्या है, एक पॉइंट है व्हेन पासिस थ्रू द सिंगल पॉइंट. सपोज ये एक पॉइंट से ही निकल रही हैं फोर्सेस इसी पॉइंट्स पे, और ये जितनी भी मैं बात कर रहा हूँ ये कोप्लेनर के अंडर आई हैं ये फोर्सेस. ऑल दीज फोर्सेस, टाइप ऑफ फोर्सेस कम्स अंडर coplanar forces, and coplanar forces act in a same plane, means the collinear forces lie in the same line in a same plane, and concurrent forces lie in a same plane. एंड व्हेन ऑल द पॉइंट आर इन द, अगर एक पॉइंट है वहाँ से फोर्सेस जा रही हैं, ये सेम प्लेन की ही बात हो रही है बिकॉज ये कोप्लेनर फोर्सेस के अंदर ही आ रही हैं टाइप्स. सो डायरेक्शन कुछ भी हो सकती है, फोर्स की डायरेक्शन पुल हो सकती है, पुल हो सकती है, पुश हो सकती है, एनी डायरेक्शन, बट द लाइन, द पासिंग ऑफ दैट फोर्सेस is from the same point, एक ही point से pass करेंगी. That forces we call it as a concurrent forces, and non-concurrent forces means not passing through the same point. Means if a point is here, a force come here and another force is here and here in the same plane. All the forces are in the same plane, but the force is not passing through a common point, not a common point. Anywhere it can move, but in the same plane. So this is all about the concurrent forces and non-concurrent forces. And the last is parallel forces. Parallel forces are of two type, that is like forces and unlike forces. Like forces में parallel force में समझ रहे होगा, parallel मतलब like forces are in the same plane. Forces are in the same plane. This is because of coplanar type, because it comes under the type of coplanar. All the forces are in the same plane, but in a parallel forces are in a parallel nature. Means it can't intersect in any way, in anywhere. ये कहीं intersect नहीं करेंगी. ये parallel forces हैं, ये कभी intersect नहीं करती हैं. और like और unlike में क्या फ़र्क है? Like means the forces are parallel as well as in the same direction. When the forces are parallel as well as in the same direction, we call it as a like parallel forces. And parallel forces comes under a type of coplanar, means it is in the same plane, it is parallel and in the same direction, is called like parallel coplanar forces. And when the direction is opposite, not a same, then we call it as, when direction is opposite from this or any other force, and the direction is not same not in a single direction, then we call it as unlike parallel forces. The forces are parallel, forces are on the same plane, that is coplanar forces, but the directions are opposite, we call it as unlike forces. So this is all about for today's lecture. Because of internet problem and Zoom app problem, so I missed today's my lecture, so that I make a video on it, so that आपको प्रॉब्लम ना हो कुछ किसी भी तरीके से. तो we will discuss some more thing and some more important concept about engineering mechanics in our next class. So this is all about for today. Thank you.